Aviam. Jo soc Ferran Sabater, metge pediatre del sistema públic de salut espanyol i membre també de Medicus Mundi. Jo tenia dos comentaris a fer, molt breus. Un comentari és de que un dels problemes és de que les patologies prevalents en els països de baixa renta o subdesenvolupats o es vulguin qualificar amb la paraula que sigui, és el fet de que la majoria de la recerca farmacèutica no té en compte les patologies, diguem-ne, pròpies d'aquests llocs, per una raó ben simple, i és de que l'aspecte econòmic, o sigui, la recuperació econòmica de l'esforç inversor no està assegurat en aquests llocs i per tant no es fa. I per altra part podríem dir que el suport públic d'aquests països a la recerca de medicaments per patologies pròpies i prevalents d'aquests llocs tampoc no existeix. O sigui, això és una mancança i un problema realment molt important, que ojalà en el segle XXI es trobin vies, mecanismes per resoldre'l. I un altre era un breu comentari a el que deia el doctor Wagner de la necessitat d'informar en els pacients i de les avantatges, els inconvenients i tot això. Realment jo crec que tot professional sanitari n'està convençut d'això. Ara, en el sistema espanyol, de 40 visites al dia a un ritme de 5 minuts per cada visita, realment jo no sé, m'agradaria que m'expliqués com es pot fer això, perquè només escoltant el que t'explica i intentant, o sigui, no es pot fer més. I és el sistema públic, o sigui que el sistema públic espanyol, almenys, no et permet de donar aquestes opcions, inclús la que ha dit ell del tractament no farmacològic, perquè, a més, la població espanyola està mentalitzada que si no surten de la visita mèdica amb una prescripció farmacològica representa que no els hi has fet cas, que no han estat ben atesos. Gràcies.
Yes, I can give two comments on both issues you talked. I will start at the end. What information can the doctors give to their patients? Of course, the doctors get paid for informing their patients, and I understand the problem that you have when you have so many patients per day and very limited time to consult the patients. That's the same problem the medical doctors have in Germany. That has to do a lot with the system, how it works. But just to give you one example, there is in Germany there is one group of doctors that came together saying, okay, we will save the time spending with representatives from the pharmaceutical industry. We won't let them in our office anymore. We will get our information from independent sources, because that's a waste of time if we get, sometimes it's 10 visits per day from the pharmaceutical representatives. That's in average at least half an hour that is wasted for marketing. So I think there are some ways to deal with that. And your first point, that there's a lack of medicine for the needs of developing countries. I absolutely agree. But I can tell you the World Health Organization recently, in this May, started to work on it's called Global Strategy and Plan of Action for developing new medicines for the needs of developing countries. And this document is the result of several years of hard work of negotiation. And now we have quite a good concept with around 80 recommendations, what we can do, what research is needed. And now we are at the next step should be to bring life onto the paper. It's a thick paper with a lot of good ideas, but now we all have to work on our governments to make them active to do something.
I think we mustn't deceive ourselves that doctors know everything they need to know. I mean, the world is changing so fast. There's new information, new drugs, new treatments coming along at such a rate that the reality is that most doctors can't keep up. So I think, to think that the way that a patient must decide how to take a drug or any kind of intervention, particularly an operation, is simply to talk to the doctor is not a good way to practice. That increasingly doctors must use decision aids in the consultation because they just can't know everything. And even if they knew it this morning, they don't know it this afternoon because the world is changing so fast. And increasingly the decisions that people take are kind of long-term decisions. I mean, most of medicine these days in the developed world is about chronic, long-term disease. It's not about acute disease. So there's actually a lot of time to think, shall I take hormone replacement therapy? Shall I start taking these drugs for hypertension? And the reality is that doctors often are not very good at spelling out the different routes. What is the risk to me if I don't take a treatment for my hypertension? And what is the risk to me if I do? And what are the side effects? And how likely are they to happen? Most doctors don't have that information at their fingertips. And yet, people really need to know that information, as Christian says, which is why, increasingly, you use decision aids, you use computers, and that has to be the way the world goes. Let me use the example of hormone replacement therapy. 10 years ago, certainly in Britain, even more so in America, I don't know about here, doctors would say to women at the menopause, you really ought to take hormone replacement therapy. They didn't often discuss all the pluses and minuses, because there are pluses and there are minuses. Some cancers become more common, some become less common. And then it slowly but surely emerged that actually hormone replacement, which was thought to protect against heart disease, it actually made heart disease more likely. It was thought to protect against dementia. It actually made dementia more likely. So, a decision like that, it's unrealistic to think that it's just the doctor and the patient. That's yesterday. Now we need to use information aids. But interestingly, doctors are a bit reluctant to use them.
Thank you. More questions? It's a general one for the table. It's, dado que los medicamentos se desarrollan por la industria farmacéutica, ¿no? Y aquí hemos estado hablando pues que la industria farmacéutica desarrolla clinical trials que se reducen, que no tienen a lo mejor muchas veces el estándar ético en algunos países, que la publicidad muchas veces pues no se corresponde, que se publican de forma no clara, ¿no? ¿Hay alguna solución para esto? Porque claro, los medicamentos van a continuar desarrollándose por la industria farmacéutica. ¿Ven alguna posibilidad de que esta industria entre en una parte más ética? O sea, que hagan una investigación que se corresponda con lo que dicen sus CEOs, sus jefes, ¿no? Porque cuando yo voy a la web de Pfizer o de Glaxo o de Lilly, hay un ethical code, todo el mundo parece que todo va bien, pero entonces cuando se enteran, y otra segunda pregunta, cuando se enteran de un problema que ocurre en la India, ¿qué le dicen a su organización los jefes de holandeses, americanos, etcétera? Y lo mismo con la publicidad o con los clinical trials, ¿no? ¿Cuál es el papel de los mayores representantes respecto a algo que hacen sus empleados?